happy Spill the Beads with Joyce Trowbridge for Softflex Company. How are you doing this fine Friday? I see Becky. You know what? I need a bead with you too. I love that. You thought you were late, but now you're early. You were early. Are you ready? We're going to do some seed bead work today. I hope you were ready for that, Becky. Because we love we love our wire work that I do, and we love all our stuff, and I think we need to get that seed bead. We have our seed beads on sale right now, the seed bead category, all the little findings, all the needles and threads, and our seed beads are on sale right now. So I thought, what a great time to get some bead work in. Hey, thank Liz. This is my favorite part of the week myself. So I love it. Good morning. Hi, Lanka. Hello, Rosanna. Good to see you on here. Hi, Dana. Hi, Melissa. Good to see you all. Hi, Sherry. I know this is the best. We got like the best people in our comments. Hi, Tina. Happy Friday to you too. I'm going to be playing with the Delicas today, and I'm going to be using our Miyuki thread in gold because I think you can see that one a little bit better than the silver. We carry it in the silver, which is like a very pale gray. It's not quite white, which I find really nice to match up in things. And then we have the gold, and we chose those two because we attach to a lot of silver and gold findings, and so that way it kind of matches nice. But of course, there's all sorts of different things that you can use. Or I'm also going to be using the size 10 needle out of our needle set. There's 10s and 12s. The 10 is the bigger one. It's the one that's a little thicker. I have most of our rainbows. We have several different Delica sets. If you don't want to do it with the tinies, you can do this with Rollas and make like napkin rings. What I'm going to do is do a 2-drop peyote. It's really simple, not that many beads wide. And I'm going to make this into a ring, but you can use this little piece in so many different ways, and we'll talk more about what you can do with it. It's a very fun way. So I'm using 2 colors. We have all the colors in the rainbow plus silver lined clear and silver lined gold. So you got this nice sparkly silver and gold, and they do come in a bundle set, so you can get one of each at a little bit discount price. But then and then we have this is our vintage Christmas, but I find that the colors look very gardeny, and I think they mesh well with other colors in our set. And then I have these 2 random ones that I can't find the rest of my set. This is out of the Arctic set, and this is out of the garden, the rose set. I found that these 2 worked really well with the beads in the Sunset Splendor, and that's what I'm doing for my ring that I have right there. And then I also think that the green in that vintage one goes really pretty with this purple. So I'm going to start one with those so you can see how that goes, how to start this. I'm going to move these out of the way so we can get in view. I know, who doesn't? I love seed beads. They are so fun. Lots of fun to play with. And don't forget, we are going to be doing, we have a a little giveaway at the end. And if you want to enter, just put in hashtag the number 2 and then drop, because we're doing 2-drop peyote stitch. It also is known as gourd stitch. Depending, peyote stitch is actually the more common name that you see, but that word is actually used for other things too. It's for anything spiritual. So there are, at least this is what I heard years ago. I've never fact checked it because it was before the internet, and I should probably go fact check. I can't even speak today. I'm so sorry. I should go look this up and double check this. But from my understanding, when asked what kind of beadwork it was, a loss in translation was that it's basically more commonly referred to as gourd stitch, because it was a stitch that was used to decorate gourds, but the pieces that they were on were ceremonial pieces, and so therefore they used the word peyote. So that is what I've heard. I need to go check and see if that is really true, because I think it is. I learned it through our Bead Society from a speaker, so I'm assuming that is right, but it's always good to check, right? This little piece right here. So we're going to do, so peyote stitch is usually putting 1 bead on at a time, and this is called 2-drop because we're doing 2 beads at a time. And this nice little band is going to make a ring. I'm actually going to attach, you can make a solid ring, or I'm going to use beads. I'm going to put beads in between, so that's like on there. You can also put things on top. We're going to show how to do that at the end. We're going to learn how to start it first. So we're going to start a whole brand new piece. And I'm going to do the 2 greens. So this is the green out of the Vintage Christmas. I think that's the name of it. I'm going to hopefully say it, which has a nice little sparkle to it. And then this is our opaque purple that we have in the regular standard colors that we have. I love rainbows, so I love that we were able to get all the colors. Good morning, Sharon. Hi, Debbie. You know, if you've done peyote stitch before, it's really similar. You just have to remember to pick up the count that you want. So 2-drop means that we're going to be doing 2 beads at a time, and 3-drop would be 3 beads at a time. So I'm going to just cut off a piece of thread. I'm using the gold, which I thought was going to show up better, but my mat is darker this time, so therefore it doesn't show up as well as I thought. But we're going to do this anyway. We can work this. I'm cutting about 1 yard, about 3 feet. I'm going to put my needle on my thread. Now, this is a very thin band. It's only 4 beads wide, so it's only 2 sets of 2, and it's going to make it very easy. If you want to make this wider, which could easily do, you want to make sure that because everything's in twos, right? You can't just go 6 because that turns it into odd count. That make it 1, 2, 3 columns wide. So you have to do 8. So make sure that it's a multiple of 4 if you're doing 2-drop peyote in an even count. Odd count peyote is a different animal. You have to do it a little bit different, and I think we could probably add that to one of our Fridays someday, because it'd be a lot of fun to learn another way to do peyote stitch with the odd count, because having a number of columns really adds to your designs. But for even, you have to make sure that it is a multiple of 4. So I got 4 wide, so the next one would be 8, and then it would be 12. So if that's what, if you wanted to get further and do 2-drop peyote in, say, a bracelet form, like Sarah was doing a lovely bracelet that she showed off yesterday during the live sale, with the using all the rainbows of the colors, and she was doing 2-drop peyote, and hers was wider, so she was maybe doing 12 or 16. I don't know how wide hers was, but we're just going to do this to keep it easy, and then I will probably pop on for a moment, or give a little section of it a little wider so that you can understand how to do it further. Yes. Oh, awesome, Debbie. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just chalk using different amounts. And what's nice about the 2-drop or the 3-drop, it actually makes it go a little bit faster because you're adding 2 beads at a time. So to start out, you have to put all the beads you need for the width that you want. So since it's 2 columns of 2 beads, or it's I want to make this green with I want the purple on the outside and green on the inside for this one. I am putting 4 beads, so my 2 columns, putting all of them on. I'm just started with my outside color, then my 2 inside colors, and 1 outside color. And then I'm going to bring this down. I always like to have about 6 inches of a tail at the bottom. Put a bead stopper. You can also do a stop bead if you're a seed beader, or you can use a handy dandy bead stopper, or you can live on the edge like I am, because I don't seem, oh, there's my bead stopper. I thought I had one up here that was not being used for something else. I'm going to just put my bead stopper over here. The minis that we carry are really good for thread. These are a little bit bulky for thread, but it still works. But the minis are fabulous for thread. Okay, so now, hi, Anne. We are going to do 2-drop peyote, making a band that I'm going to turn into a ring. So we have 4 beads here. And from now on, all we're going to do is always add 1 outside color, 1 inside. So mine is purple, then green. So these are going on my needle. I like to leave them on my needle instead of bringing them down here, because if I pull them all the way down, it sometimes can get a little confusing. Now, I like to build upwards, or the other way I like to do this is to have it going up and down and building sideways. And when you build sideways, you're only going in and out. Like when you build up and down like this, you have to flip it a lot, and which can get it kind of confusing, like what side you're on. So if I hold it this way with it going up and down, it makes it easier, so I'm not having to flip. So I'm going to move it this direction. I wish I could zoom this. I'm going to pull this up off of the mat, so up closer, so you can see this better and have this on my fingers. Thank you, Sharon. That's exactly. I'm so glad that we have such a great community that somebody can fact it for me. I that is what I learned. I want to say I learned that like 25, 30 years ago, when before um yeah, that's what I learned like ages ago before, and they were trying to get it to change, but it's so commonly used as peyote stitch that it just kind of stuck. All right, I love it. Thank you, Sharon. I love that we have such a great community to be able to have somebody find that for us. All right, I have the 2 on my needle. And then what I'm going to do, this is my bead stopper side, my tail side, this is my working side, and I'm going to skip the first 2 and then go into the second 2 going towards the tail. I know it's a great stitch. There's so many things you could do with this stitch. In fact, we have some old, I believe we have some stuff with some videos with Daniel Wicks that she's done with us and done this in rolla beads. If you are intimidated by the Delica beads, try this with rolla beads. You can even use the 010 very fine soft flex to practice with that. Awesome. And is it? Yeah, she does amazing stuff. And there's several other wonderful designers out there that make great patterns and tutorials. Okay, I did again 1 outside color, 1 inside color, so 2 beads at a time, and then it's skipping. So now I'm going upwards. So we're going to be always going back and forth. We're moving back and forth. So I'm going to skip 2 beads and go through 2 beads. That's what makes it 2 drop, is because we're going it by 2s. So I'm going through those 2, going away from the tail, and then pull, and they should stack up right next to each other. And then again, we're going to go 1 outside. In this band, because it's only the 4 beads and the only 2 columns, it makes it really easy. You only are going to be putting the same beads on each time. This is a great way to learn this if you haven't done this before. Go through. Now I'm going towards the tail. It is kind of like a figure 8, but you're kind of more like zig. It's more, you're not actually like crossing. And then add 2 beads. So I have my outer and my, so it's always the green, then the purple. Nope, I did it wrong. Purple and then the green. And then we're going to go skip 2, go through 2. And it's sometimes this is really what happens. You go and pull it and it gets loose. So pull it back tight, get it back in. And if you can't, sometimes it will just still do that. And one good way to get this tighter is to make sure. Oh, yeah. I pull back the last beads that I just did. I'm going to pull downwards, and then I'm going to pull upwards. And it's always good to pull the thread, not, like, don't hold on to the tail and the working and pull away from each other. Sometimes that will loosen your piece. What you want to do is pull with the direction of the holes. So the holes are going up and down, so I'm going to be pulling either up or down. And then we're going to add purple and green. And then I'm going downwards now. And pull. If you can pinch it with your fingers, you can do this flat on the mat too. Sometimes that makes it easy for you to see. Pinching in your fingers does help with the tension. It keeps it so that you can get it nice and, taut. Oh, I do too. Danielle's teaching style is fabulous. We love her. She's amazing. I'm always so excited when we get her to come to a bead party on Wednesday. Yes, yes. If it happens a lot, that is such a great tip from Danielle. If this goes, you can lock them. That is such a good, yep. Absolutely. And you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Now, this not only can be used as like the ring that I'm going to make, you can make this longer and do it as like a little skinny bracelet that stacks up with other stuff, or add to like a multi-strand, multi-medium bracelet, which is always fun. A small version like this can be turned into a bail to go on top of a bead, which I am going to try to do right now. Just get a little bit more. And as you can see, this works up quite fast. Sherry, you're just going back and forth, huh? Sometimes. Oh, and then just make sure that you pick up the beads in the right order. Because whoops, there it is. Or leave that mistake, because we're not all perfect. But if this happens, best thing to do is not to go backwards through, because it's very easy to pierce the thread and then cause more problems. Best thing to do is take your needle off and just pull it off. And then you can I know it's so frustrating to have to rethread the needle, but trying to get where something is where you're not trying to undo a split thread is really hard. So better not to split the thread and just take the needle off. And I totally get that. Once you like learn this and you do this, it is like so it is so fun that you do want to just keep on going. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I can make a hat band. Oh, I can make a belt. I love it. Yes, Vanessa, it is such a tangled mess. It seems like you would have no problem backing out of it. Like go, oh, I could just pull this out, you know, and just go through here and pull out. And sometimes you can, but a lot of times you either split it or loop the thread, and then it's a bigger mess and it's so hard. So the some people will back out by using the back of the needle and go through, and there's less of a likelihood of that, but I've still had problems with that. So I just kind of like grin and bear it and turn and decide to, you know, take the needle off. Oh, yes, Dana, that's what I just said. Oh, I love it. We're great minds, great minds. I love it. All right, so if you are making like a bail for the top of a piece, or if you are making which I actually thought I would do this one to go on top of the bunny that I painted. Did I bring it in here? No, I didn't bring it in here. From the Allegory Gallery, from the live sale. I think these colors would go really well. I'm going to make this as a little bail for the top, and I want to connect them. So if you notice, because it, you know, they're staggered, they're not lined up, right? So you have, there's this one's sticking out and this one's going in, this is in and this one's out. I need to have them opposite. I need this one out and then the bottom one out. So I'm going to do one more row. It's so true. If there's more than just a couple beads back, you gotta just take that needle off. But if it's just a couple beads or one bead, or, you know, then it's, but that is exactly a great tip. Great reminder. And, oh, I did it right here. All right. So either whether you're going to make this in one full band, you want to make sure that it goes all the way around your finger if you're going to use it as a continuous for a ring, or in this case, I'm going to just zip it up and turn it into a bail. I'm going to take off my bead stoppers because I don't need that anymore. And then we're going to put these two together, like line up those two ends, and then we're going to zigzag do that. So I have the threads coming out of this side on the right side of the top. And now I'm going to go over here and loop over to the two on the left, or on the bottom of the right side. And then I'm going to go over to the top of the left side. Now I'm going to turn the corner and zip it the other way. I'm going to go through the bottom. And so I just made a pass through all those beads, and now it's a little tiny ring. So if it was long enough to go on my finger, I would be able to do that. But because I'm going to just use this as a bail at the top of a piece, that's all I need. That's a small enough piece. And then I'm going to weave in, just follow the thread path so that I'm not crossing any threads over any beads. And you can make little circles as long as the thread, like right now, I went from these two up this way, and if you watch it, that thread is going to go disappear between those beads. And that little loop like that helps secure in place. And if you do enough of this, that's all you need to do. But if you want something a little bit more secure, you can do a half hitch knot, and I like to do it in the center of the piece. There is a thread between this bead and this bead that if you go under the thread with your needle, you can catch it with your needle, pull until there's a small loop, go through the loop, that's doing a half hitch knot, and then go into the beads that you're heading towards. And I like to do about 2 or 3 of these, so I will just travel over. I'm going to go over a few. So Cinderella showed us how the little mice in Cinderella shows us how to thread the needle, when really what we're gotta do, Sharon, is needle the thread. And I will show that a little bit in a little bit of how I do it to make it easier. Almost lost my light. You don't, oh, now we're off balance, but that's okay. We can be off balance. We just need it. There we go. And then I can cut this one off and call this one done. And I could do the same thing with my tail now. Or I'm going to leave this because this is what I'm going to use to sew onto the little pendant that I want it to go on. So I'm going to leave that there and do that later. Oh, the big eye needles are fabulous. Yes, those split needles, the big eye needles are great. So one of the ways, I'm going to, let's see. Okay, so one thing is sometimes it's hard to see the thread. So take a marker and color. Oh, a thick marker will make it easier. The thin doesn't do it as well, but you get the idea. Color your end. That's going to make it easier to see, especially with the very fine threads. So that's one thing that can help. Then the other thing that can help thread your needle. So instead of trying to, I'm right-handed and it's more intuitive. You think, okay, you have your thread in your right hand and then you're going to try to put that through the eye of the needle. That's what makes it hard. Now, the way needles are made, they're pierced and one side is flat and one side is beveled. So you may have to just flip it over. That might be part of the problem. So you might have to flip it over. But the other thing is, if you see, I have my needle in my right hand because I'm right-handed. I have my thread in my left hand. I like to pull this down to where I don't see it. Like if you keep it like here, outwards, when it goes to hit the needle, it bends, see? And so if you pull it down so that it's pinched between your fingers and you just know that it's right in this spot, you don't have to see it. You can pull it down to where you don't even have to see it anymore. You just know that that eye is right there. Then, if you take the eye of the needle and wiggle it down between the creases of your two fingers, that usually gets it in there. Now, sometimes it takes one or two tries, but that does help. Yes, Becky, especially if you're using other types of thread. There's some thread that when you cut it, the end kind of poofs out a little. So if you flatten it with a pair of pliers, that works. So that's how I thread my needle, by pinching that thread between my fingers. It keeps it stiff enough that you can push your needle down through your fingers and usually get it in there. Again, it might take 2 or 3 tries, especially in the beginning. Yep. Yes, Sharon, for sure. That's one of the ones that kind of poofs out that you have to do that with. Oh, you're welcome, Deborah. All right, so I am going to show you how to do it. I'm going to go start another one again with the same colors, but this time I'm going to make it 8 wide. So I'm going to go do my outside, and then you're going to want to do 6 of your inside color, because I want to show you the difference between that real quick. One, two, okay, 6 of the inside color and 1 more outside color, and that gives a total of 8 beads. So remember, if you're doing 2-drop peyote, you need to have it divisible by 4 if you want to make something wider. This is a great size for a little skinny band for a bracelet. We are using Delicas today. We are using our Miyuki Delicas, and I'm using this opaque purple, and this one's like a color lined AB something or other green in size 11. And then we add, so we start out with 1 outside, 1 inside, skip. So this is going to be the same like before, where you skip 2, and then you're going to go into the next 2, and I'm going downwards. Do this on your mat. I'm only like suspending this so that you could see it better up closer, because I can't zoom on this camera right now. So since I can't do that, I got to bring the piece toward to you. I don't think you could see it way down here, so I didn't want to leave it on the mat, but of course you could do this on your mat and that will make it easier. You don't have to suspend it like I did. Okay, so that gives you the 2 just stacked up next to the ones that I skipped and that I'm going through there. Now, because we have more of the middle colors, we're going to add 2 of the middle color. We're going to skip the next 2 middle colors and go through the last 2 beads. So in 2-drop, it's everything's by 2. Yes, we're all weird together. That's what makes us wonderful beading friends. I love it. And it's really only our beading friends that understand. Maybe some other people that have crafting that they get it. But the rest of our people in our lives that don't do anything like this don't understand it. So that's why we feel weirder. So it's wonderful when we can bead together on Fridays like this, or with Kristen on Mondays, or Sarah on Wednesdays, because we have like-minded people, right? All right, so now we're going to go back the other direction. So I'm going to start out, and it's always matching the ones that I'm going to skip. So I'm going to add a purple, then the green, and then I'm going to skip those two and then go through two. Whoop, I just took off my needle. And then, so that stacked up those two there. So now it's two of the middle color. So two of my green, skip two, go through two. Yeah, yeah, the like the family kind of go, oh, you have a problem, but it's not a problem, it's a joy. Okay, so one purple, one green, and I'm going to skip the two. So now you have what, like if I'm holding it this way, I usually call them down beads and up beads, but we're holding it up and down, which I think makes it easier to bead. So it's outies and innies. So we're going to skip the two innies and go through the two outies. Absolutely. I don't mind running this meeting. As long as I get to bead for the meeting. Two middle colors, they match what the innies are, and going through two outies. Oh, I am so glad that you made it home safely. It is so important to know that, because there is some crazy weather out there in different parts of our where we are. And so I'm so glad to hear that. Add two. So everything's in two, and we're just matching. So you put the beads that match in this particular colorway of designing. You're matching the beads that are the innies, and then so you skip the two innies and go through two outies. Match the two innies and go through the outies. And then, so it's not that much harder. All you're doing is, you do have to watch what colors you're doing, but it's a great way to add. You can change this color even more if you wanted to. You could have two colors on the outside. So I could have gone maybe like purple, blue, and then 4 green, and then blue, purple, and that would have been fun. There's lots of ways to add more color. And just remember that you are repeating. There's also graph paper that you can color and follow the design that way, but this, sometimes we want something simple and easy. And just keep on going. So now this is like a wider version. Look at how cute, you know, you can change that up just by changing how many in the middle there is. Or you can make even stripes. I can't wait to see what you do with it. So let's do the connection with the beads in the center, which is what I have here ready to go. I have these beads left over from my Sunset Splendor that I thought would make a cute ring. And then with these two colors that we have, oh, good, Sharon. I am glad. And don't forget, this is, you know, I'm only doing this nice, short, and simple demonstration on here, but you can repeat it. And all these beadwork like this is just a repetitive thing. And we can watch this on replay on our YouTube or on our Facebook after the live. You would love to see us bezel a Rivoli. Ah, that would be so fun. We don't have any Rivolis at in our collection. I did do a cabochon not too long ago for Snowy Day. That was fun. So there's an old one there, but I might be able to bezel set a different kind of bead that we carry, and then that way, and then you can just use that knowledge and adapt it to a Rivoli. Oh my gosh, yes, Becky, I love that. Oh, I could totally bezel a button. Absolutely, that would be fun. We have buttons, and I could do a button for sure. But Becky, I love that. Yes, you could totally make a wider band. Yeah, just remember, like if you're doing the 2-drop, you want it to be a multiple of 4. So whatever the width that you want, make sure that it's a multiple of 4. I love that. And you want to know what that means? Okay, bezel is when you make a little strip, and they do it in silver too, but in beadwork, you make a strip of beads, and then it wraps around a flat bead or a flat cabochon is one that doesn't have a hole. And then a Rivoli is a type of crystal that is pointed, has a slight point on the bottom and a slight point on the top. It's a really pretty crystal. So then you can so bezel setting means that you're putting seed beads all the way around, like if this was and it was like wrapped around like this, if that was one solid bead, and you'd wrap it around like that, and then the seed beads is what holds it in place. And because Rivolis and cabochons do not have holes, you can't, you would have to glue something or wire wrap it, and not everybody wants to glue or wire wrap. So you can also use seed beads to bezel set, which is making like a little band of beads. I hope that made that clear. Oh yes, bezel setting with super duos is a lot of fun. Yes, you would, Sharon, absolutely. If you did 12, you'd do 1 outside color, 10 inside color, and then 1 outside color. Exactly. Perfect. How do you attach it to the stone? We're gonna have to do a spill the beads with that, huh? It's once you have that around, then you build up more beads, and it kind of hugs it and keeps it in place. Okay, so I'm at the end here. Oh, no, I want one more row because I want this to match that other. Boop. All right. So I am going to, I could make this loop around and attach it like I showed you how to close the bail. But and then put any beads and like just leave it as a little ring just like that, which is cute. Or you can even sew beads on top of it, which is cute. But I'm going to sew beads between it because I want this whole little set. Yeah, the beads, just the stone gets just kind of like, it gets hugged in so that it just stays, because you make the rows a little bit smaller so that it kind of just hugs it in place. All right, so I want to exit out of these middle two. So I'm just going to scoop my little thread needle through so that I'm coming out of the two. You could do this out of the outside, but I think it'll just look better if I do it out of the inside ones. So I'm coming out of the middle color there. I'm going to add one bead because it's just going to be better. And then I'm one little inside color. And then I'm going to add the beads that I want for my ring. I'm going to add another inside color. So I got one inside color, my beads that I'm attaching, and then an inside color. And then I'm going to go over to the other side here. And I am going to take my needle and go through the two middle colors like that. And then I'm going to add one inside color again. And what this is doing is going to allow me to kind of like balance so that there's no thread really showing once I pull this tight. So I have one inside color, and I'm going to go back through all these big beads, not the inside color I already put on, just the big beads. Trying carefully not to split the thread, because we do not want to split our thread. I'm going to pull that nice and tight. So see how that just kind of like makes those two kind of the big bead kind of balance on top of those two. So that was from the previous set that I put on, and then that one was from the new one I put it on. Then I'm going to add one more of the inside color. Oh, Melissa, did you? Wonderful. We should check that out. And then I'm going to go through the two inside colors here. Now, I like to reinforce these kind of things because these bigger beads have different kind of holes. They put a little bit more strain. So what reinforce means is that I'm running through the beads in the same path that I already took. and just adding more thread to give it more strength. So let's get this in position so I can do that. Let me get it all figured out here. So I'm going to go through the inside color, through all the big beads, through the inside color on this other side. Oh, focus, camera. You can focus. I know you can. There we go. So I just went through all those beads, not adding any other beads, just reinforcing by going through it again. Go through the base, the two middle ones on the base here, and then back down to this other side. We're going to go through that bead, through the middle, all the way down. And that's just I'm so glad. Thanks, Thomas, for grabbing that, because that sounds like a fun tutorial we should check out. Look at that. Now I got a ring, and then I'm just gonna, you could reinforce that one more time. Right now there's 4 threads going through those bigger beads, so that's kind of pretty good. I lost my needle, so let's get that back on. And don't be afraid to cut your little end, because it starts to fray and it doesn't want to thread sometimes when it frays. And again, coloring that end sometimes makes it easier to see whether it's fraying or not. And if it doesn't seem to go one side, flip your needle over, because you might have the flat side, not the bevel side, towards the thread, and that will make it a little bit easier. And then all I'm going to do now is weave this in. And look at that. We are ready to find out who is the winner, aren't we? So don't forget, we have our seed beadwork and beadwork finding sale going on right now on our softflexcompany.com website, so you can pick up some Delicas. I'm using beads from the Rose Garden set, triplet set, and then the vintage Christmas or vintage holiday, something like that. Let's get this ring on. You know what I like about seed bead, the Delica bands in seed bead rings are so flat and so comfortable in between the fingers. Plus, they're flexible and they move with your body. So I really love them. So you can kind of get Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. If you do, we love that. It helps so much. I gotta still cut off these threads, but that's what my ring looks like. How fun is that? You could probably make some cute little earrings. What if you did a little band and then dropped a bead off of the bottom for a pair of earrings? And it's a short, simple, so you can get Oh, I'm all about like adding more things to so I'm going to do that. All right, let's find out. If you haven't already, get hashtag 2drop in the let's fix this. We're all over the place here. We're trying to get this. Let's get back over here. How are we doing this? Solo. Let's get back on here. I'm gonna just like sit here with my ring. Ooh, ooh. I don't know how to make this look good. I'm not a hand model. And let's find out who is ready to see who's the winner. To drop the number 2. Oh, I need to share the screen. Let's share the screen. It doesn't work if you don't share it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do 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 do. Oh, that's not it. That's it. Share. And ready, set, draw. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Who's our lucky winner today? We have Elizabeth Fife. Congratulations. Love it. I am going to give you I have a little set of a little bit of this and that to give you to make your own little ring. Congratulations. Let me know you're here so that we can get you your piece. Yeah, you're here. Hello, hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you on. I'm so glad. I will bring, when I go to the office on Tuesday, I will give you your own little set so that you can learn how to do this or turn it into something else if you'd like. Until next time, let's see where we go. Enjoy your weekend. Have a fabulous time. Don't forget, we have a live sale going on. There's some fun things in that live sale. One of the oh my gosh, I just realized there's some like small pretty beads that would be so pretty. Oh, what if you did a band with those emeralds and put some emeralds across, or those Swiss blue topaz that are in there? We have these little tiny short strands of some beautiful gemstones, and they would be amazing in a little ring. I just thought of that. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get some on Tuesday when I go in on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy. See you next Friday for the next Spill the Beads. Don't forget to check out that live sale to see if there's anything you want to put into a ring. Check out our beadwork sale on our softflexcompany.com, and then see Kristen on Monday, 1 p.m. next week. Oh, and Kristen is going to do Wednesday's kit reveal too, for our Grateful Heart kit. So that's exciting. And on Wednesday. So we have a great week coming. See you later. Bye.